The saga with FTX really goes deep. I'm going to bring you everything you need to know today. The first thing is that there have been major developments that I need to bring to you. Previous to this video, I covered everything that happened. That video had received, at least at the time of this recording, well over 100,000 views. And I showed you so many different things that has happened. But now I need to bring you what has happened since then. The second thing is the politics, the donations. So many people have been asking me to cover that aspect. I found out some information that I wanted to make sure I shared, even though I shared some in the previous. And the third, we go down the rabbit hole. So if you stick with me through this video, I'm going to bring you everything. Let's begin. So I'll take you through the whole timeline right here, and I want to make it quick because a lot of people are already aware of what happened, especially the stuff over the past couple days. But let me just bring it to you as fast as possible, okay? FTX says that it is investigating unauthorized transactions. Wait a minute, what happened? How did this occur? At one point, they said it was about $266 million, 73 million withdrawn from FTX US alone. What's going on? We're going to make sure everything's okay. A day after it filed for bankruptcy, the collapsed cryptocurrency exchange FTX said that it was investigating unauthorized transactions flowing from its accounts, as crypto researchers documented suspicious transfers of $515 million that have been the result of a hack or a theft. And that's right, the newly instated chief executive said there were some unauthorized access to the assets that has occurred, but we're looking into it. Now, some have started to speculate that this was the founder or maybe his girlfriend or one of the high-level people at the company FTX basically running away with whatever they could grab. We don't have the evidence of that. And, there's a lot of problems that could have occurred right here. And I'm going to show you a lot of that today. But we don't have the official evidence yet. And of course, only time will tell. It all depends on how this whole story unfolds. So we have to continue to cover it. Here we have it. This is SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried's bankrupt digital asset exchange FTX was hit by a mysterious outflow of 662 million. So the longer the time goes on, the more they are finding that somehow, have this mysterious outflow. $2 billion of clients' money is missing from collapsed crypto exchange FTX. SBF denies secretly transferring $10 billion to trading company run by his girlfriend. So this was all part of that Alameda. I talked about that in the previous video. And so you have the potential, the potential here that a lot of that money was moved somewhere else. Now, he's denying that, so we are going to find out in time. But I just thought it was interesting to see the developments as they took place. Like, how did this all really occur on the timeline? Did they try to come up with some sort of scheme to prop up their own company? Or was it failed long before that? Now, there were reports. Initially, the first report was that a plane was on the tarmac and was leaving Bahamas, and it was getting ready to do so, and it was there for 40 minutes or so. I mentioned that briefly in the previous video. Then they said he was going to go to Dubai. Then they said it was Argentina because their plane had gone to Argentina. According to him, he said, I'm in Bahamas. A lot of people said, no, that's not true. Well, in fact, I'll show you just in a second here. FTX founder and two senior execs are under observation by authorities holed up in luxurious Bahamas resort owned by Tiger Woods and Justin Timberlake as they plot escape to non-extradition safe haven Dubai. See, you're being told basically that they are going to go to Dubai. Now, how in the world, in the middle of all this, are they going to be able to do that and survive? I think that's the next aspect of that. FTX users appear to be cashing out of a bankrupt crypto exchange through a Bahamas loophole. That's right. So this is where I want to just talk about something here. Let me mention this first. Okay. Some have been buying NFTs that appear to be owned by Bahamian citizens at astronomical prices. In one case, a digital collectible that traded for $9 3 weeks ago sold for $10 million. This NFT activity is highly irregular at a macro level when the NFT market overall is declining both in value and in volume, and in this specific case where there is limited trading on other FTX markets, saying what's happening here with these NFTs is very unusual. So maybe they're putting their money in that as a way to pull the cash out. Now, in addition to this, you know, you've probably heard him before, but the multimillionaire CoffeeZilla, he basically suggested that what we're seeing right now is in the Bahamas, a lot of that money was basically being moved out and was being done in such a manner that was, let's say, part of all these illegal trading. What he said specifically was that they took this time right now to create a fake instance of basically like a report from the part of the government, like the police or whatever it was. And they said that this is our way of, providing a loophole. And they had to do this. FTX had to do this. They had to have a loophole for some of the customers to bring money out of the Bahamas. Okay. But it turns out that really, I'm not sure who sent him that on Reddit or what have you. But as far as I can tell, based on my research, that isn't really the case. There's something else going on here, but what he reported, as far as I'm concerned, isn't accurate at this time. If you know of it, if you know the source of that, please put it down below. Look here. The now bankrupt global cryptocurrency exchanges only allowing withdrawals in the Bahamas after halting FTX liquidations everywhere else in the world. The once $32 billion firm, partially based in NASA, said in a tweet, said it had to facilitate Bahamian withdrawals to comply with local regulations. And now I fumbled what I was saying previously, but essentially the rumor was that they were faking this report provided by the government so that they can create a loophole so that they could bring the money out. But that doesn't seem like that's the case. And I just wanted to make that clear. And I'm not on this guy's side, okay? Anybody who loses money like this is, is a terrible circumstance. I'm just trying to bring you the truth, and I can only give you what is documented, sourced information. Then they mention what's happening with the NFTs as well, okay? So I'm just trying to show you this. This is kind of a loophole that's built in. It wasn't some necessarily, maybe it was, maybe that document was fake. I don't have the source behind that. But it just shows you this is what was mentioned, okay? This is important. FTX faces criminal probe in Bahamas after company collapses, losing $1 billion in crypto. Right now, the SBF and the company being interviewed by Bahamas police. So I just wanted to show you this because there's a suggestion that, he's scot-free, he's in Miami, he's in Argentina. It doesn't appear that that's likely at all. FTX customers likely have a frustrating time ahead of them now that the exchange is in bankruptcy protection. Customers of Voyager Digital and Celsius Network, two crypto platforms that went bust earlier this year, are still mostly locked out of their accounts and unsure of how much money they'll recover. You see, this is the problem here. And ultimately, I don't think people are going to get anything back. I think that's the way it looks. So we've had all these steps onto this point here, and it looks like in the end, people will lose it all. This is apparently Sam's penthouse, the Orchid, in the Albany exclusive community, now listed on the market for sale. I find it extremely unusual that his property, how do we confirm that this is his property, is already on sale? Like did he just move out? Did he move into his parents' house? Like, how did this happen instantly? I find it odd, but that's being reported here as well, okay? Nice place, by the way. Okay, you can see some of the pictures. If it is true, that's a beautiful place, let me tell you. Now look at this. FTX held $900 million in liquid assets against $9 billion of liabilities the day before Friday's bankruptcy filing. Now that's according to the FT, and I'm not a big math guy, but if you only have $900 million of assets, against 9 billion in liabilities, that's probably a problem. You're not the one of the commercial banks out there that can do fractional reserve lending, and maybe you're kind of like the Federal Reserve trying to do their thing too with just printing money out of thin air. No. This is a legitimate company. Those ratios are way off, way off. Now let's look at the next aspect. The FTX connection to the Ukrainian government and the World Economic Forum. So even though I did cover it in the previous video with the donations and so on, I just wanted to touch on this aspect here. And it's kind of being said that, they're this massive donor and all this. They did set up the infrastructure, it looks like. Okay, I want to show you this. The Ukrainian government launched a cryptocurrency donation website in March that was backed by FTX. So they kind of set up that infrastructure there for them. But my understanding, as it says at the bottom here, earlier this month, FTX already converted $1 million worth of SOL and transferred it to the National Bank of Ukraine. And so I don't know how much entirely had moved over there, but the only number I'm seeing here is 1 million. If that's the case, in the grand scheme of things, how much the US government has just been throwing billions to Ukraine, the 1 million really isn't much. But again, that's just based on very limited bits of information. At the same time, we do know that they are partners with the World Economic Forum. And, they believe that you will own nothing and be happy. But in the case over here, maybe SBF has been kicked off the list. I don't know. We'll see what happens in time. Then we have this. They actually donated to Bahamas as well. FTX has also made multiple donations worth in the millions and thousands of dollars to nonprofits such as the Agricultural Development Organization and other charities and good causes. So they are putting money not just into, I'm assuming, the World Economic Forum. They have some level of involvement. They've got the Ukraine situation happening. Political donor right here, biggest donors, which I'll show you in just a second. And then also to Ukraine and everybody. Okay, so this is the next thing. Who are the biggest donors? This is open secrets. You could see this for yourself. The biggest donors right here should be apparent to everybody, but if you see it for yourself, you'll look. It's everybody you would expect. George Soros at the top of the list, and then obviously blue is Democrats, and the red is the Republicans. Go down number 6, and you see SBF. Okay, so that shows him, donating about $40 million to the Democratic side. Now, you can draw any inferences you want from that. We'll see what happens throughout his investigation and see how favorable it is to him. I know this is very small, but maybe I can zoom in. But essentially, this is a partial look at SBF's empire investments, including lead investments, major companies in the crypto space. So I don't know a lot of these companies here, but you might. And so I'm just zooming in for you to give you a better look. I mean, there's just countless. And see how it funds through Alameda, which is run by his girlfriend, and through those investments. Then we have FTX and FTX US. These are 2 separate entities. So you can break them down. Everything in here, BlockFi being included. A lot of the YouTubers are a little bit in trouble because they told people to keep their money in BlockFi because why? They're going to earn, what was it, 8% and change in interest, which great percentage. Unfortunately, when the problems occur, that's right, you don't get your money back. That's the whole issue right now today. Okay, so let's look at a couple issues here as we go down the rabbit hole. This is CZ from Binance, and he's telling everybody a few things. He's been covering this, and obviously he wants to look like the good guy right now. I'm not defending him or anybody else, but I just wanted to show you FTT contract deployers moved all remaining FTT supply worth $400 million, which should be unlocked in batches. Not too sure what's going on. So this is the currency, the cryptocurrency around FTX, and I think it's interesting just to see if there will be any developments around that. I'll keep you up to date as well. Customers pulled funds from crypto.com over the weekend after the company's chief executive said the cryptocurrency exchange mishandled a roughly $400 million transaction. And this is the point of the video where I'm going to stop and try to bring to you a little bit of information behind this. Look, it's not FTX. It's not FTX. It's not crypto.com. It's not any of them. The problem here is that we have real corruption. We have real greed, but it's not at crypto companies. You're going to see that anywhere. And when you bring interest rates down to zero, you cover up all this mess. But I'll tell you something. When you increase interest rates to a even moderate level, you start to smell, it starts to stink. And it's all the rotten garbage that has been laying there underneath, swept under that rug for so long. And it finally comes to the surface. And we are only seeing the tip of the iceberg. Just the tip of the iceberg, okay? Crypto markets need regulation to avoid more washouts like FTX. That's according to none other than the Coinbase CEO. Now, he's obviously big partners with the financial establishment. Do we need more regulation? Like, is that what's needed? Is that the problem here? The financial industry, not crypto, the financial industry is highly regulated. Look what happened during 2008, leading up to 2008. Did the regulations create this? No. Everybody turned a blind eye. Everybody turned a blind eye. That's what needs to be understood. But no, we need more regulation. This is just funny. SBF on FTX. In 2008, no one knew how much risk was in the system until it all fell apart. Compared to FTX, we offer complete transparency. That's right. Oh my goodness, what a laugh, okay? And then, this is just as I'm recording this video, I don't know what's going on, but he just tweeted this right here, literally the word what. He tweeted the word what, and I think he deleted it after, so I don't know what's happening here, but he still has access to his Twitter, so it will be interesting to see. Now that's it for this video. I know it was a long one. I wanted to bring you all the details. If you appreciated this information, simply hit that subscribe. I'm going to bring you all the data, all the details. You let me know. Whatever you put in those comment sections, that's what I'm going to give to you. So make sure you comment below so I know what you're thinking. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.